This season's international fun concludes with the Miami Dolphins and Washington Commanders facing off in Madrid, Spain. Later Sunday, quarterbacks Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen will battle in Buffalo. The Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams play each other in a huge NFC West showdown for sole possession of first place in the NFC West, while two other top NFC teams face off Sunday night as the Detroit Lions square off against the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's get into the full Week 11 slate, which culminates with a dud Monday Night Football matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Las Vegas Raiders. Hey there, welcome everybody to the Week 11 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. Coming off a very special night this evening for us. We want to send a special shout out to our dear friend Brian Keenan. Very special night tonight. We celebrated his 30th work anniversary this evening. We had a very nice time with all our dear friends tonight and some friends that we haven't met yet. But this show is not only for him, of course, him and his brother Mike, of course, who are our biggest supporters, no doubt about that. But in all seriousness, though, we don't have that much time to do a full tribute, even though he's deserving of one. But tonight, we are going to dedicate this show to the memory of, in many people's opinions, the greatest commissioner in the history of the National Football League, Paul Tagliabue. He passed away last Sunday at the age of 84. You think of everything he did for the game and helped make the game what it is today and making the NFL, without question, the most popular sport and the most entertaining sport out of all the major sports. And the body of work and the whole 9 yards and the TV deals and the global expansion of the game and just so many great things that Paul Tagliabue did for the NFL. And on behalf of all of us here at TXN Sports World, our thoughts and our prayers and our condolences to the Tagliabue family. And to Paul Tagliabue, as we always say, we want to say to you, sir, thank you for the memories. Thank you for the inspiration. But most of all, thank you for Paul Tagliabue and for everything you did to help make the NFL what it is today. You're one of the reasons why we do this show in the first place, each and every week. So thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. And rest in peace. Godspeed. Week 11 of the NFL season kicked off last night. As always, Amazon Prime Video, Thursday Night Football. It was our number 6 game of the week. It was a matchup featuring the New York Jets and Michael Bullock's New England Patriots. And to the surprise of none of us, Michael Bullock and all of our friends who are New England Patriot fans celebrating once again. They're used to Victory Mondays. Well, this time around, you had yourselves a Victory Friday today, as the New England Patriots defeated the New York Jets by a final score of 27-14. The Patriots improved to 9-2 on the season, winners of 8 in a row. The New York Jets, snapping their 2-game winning streak, they drop to 2-8. For the Jets next week, it goes from bad to worse. They got to go to Baltimore next week against the Baltimore Ravens. And you know how that's going to go. As for the Patriots, they're also on the road. They're going to be going on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. So we'll get into both of those games next week. But as far as Jets and Patriots are concerned, we'll do a quick breakdown here. For the Patriots, Drake May, 25 of 34, 281 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. Travion Henderson, 19 carries, 62 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs led the receiving corps, 9 catches for 105 yards. Travion Henderson also caught the touchdown pass from Drake May. 5 catches, 31 yards. 2 sacks for the defense. Christian Barmore and Elijah Ponder with the sacks. And And that was all she wrote for the New England Patriots in those sweet rivalry uniforms, by the way. As for the New York Jets, Justin Fields, 15 of 26, 116 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Isaiah Williams went 0 for 1. Fields also led the running attack, 11 carries, 67 yards, and a touchdown run. John Mechie III led the receiving corps with 3 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. And Jermaine Johnson had the lone sack for the New York Jets. The New England Patriots. What can we say about the New England Patriots that has not been said already? As MF stated on this program a couple or so weeks ago, ahead of schedule. Way ahead of schedule. We still have plenty of games to go. They technically have the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. But we have to wait and see how. Well, actually, no, because the Indianapolis Colts are on bye this week. We'll get to them we'll get to that in a moment. And we do have to wait and see what happens with the Denver Broncos, because they have a huge game this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. So they will technically have the edge over Indy because Indy's not playing this week. And then we have to wait and see what Denver does against Kansas City on Sunday afternoon. Denver wins, they're tied. But if Kansas City wins, then going into next week, after this week, the New England Patriots would technically, for the moment, have the inside track to the number 1 seed in the AFC. Which would mean the Super Bowl, stop me if this sounds familiar, the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC would go through Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. How many times have we heard that over the years? Too many to count. But we still have a long way to go. We're in the second. We're halfway through the season. We got about 7 or 8 more weeks to go. So we shall wait and see what happens. But New England, this little engine that could, just keeps on chugging along. 8 in a row now, 9-2, and they have the inside track. Not only to the AFC East, but they also have the inside track to that number 1 seed. But their biggest threats are Indianapolis and Denver right now. The Jets, well, started 0-7, and then they had those 2 big wins against the 2 Ohio teams, at Cincinnati, and then this past week against Cleveland. But that's all there is to say there. So, and now they got to go to Baltimore. Not going to be easy. Patriots against Cincinnati, you never know what you're going to get with Cincinnati. So They got the talent. The talent is there. It's just that they can't slam the door. They haven't been the same since they let that Jet game get away. They were smashing the Jets and they let that game get away from them. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. We'll talk about that next week. But congratulations to the Patriots. Keep on rolling, and this could be the year. This could be their year. You never know. You never know. So not much more to add. So, good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Patriots, keep on rolling. They defeat the Jets 27-14, 8 in a row, 9-2 on the season. Inside track to not only the AFC East, but as it stands, we got to wait and see what Denver does against Kansas City on Sunday. Indy's not playing this week, but as of right now, New England, inside track to the number 1 seed in the AFC. In the AFC, what?
Yeah, it's a remarkable story. It's a remarkable feat. But the thing is that they've been playing this all season long. They've been doing this all season long. And a lot of people have been wondering, is this going to be the year? And, New England continues to do what they're just handling their business. They're just playing the schedule that they're getting, and they're winning the games that they need to win. So, props to the Patriots. There's really nothing more to say here. When you're the number 1 team in the East, this is what you got to handle. You got to handle your business. They're winning the games that they're winning. So no arguments here. Keep playing the way you're playing. And yeah, so good job, Patriots. Congratulations. And Michael Bullock is yours.
How you doing, Mr. First Place?
Man, the thing is, guys, we knew this team. I mean, going into the season, we thought this team was going to be improved team. But how many people, and including you guys, how many of you at this point of the season had this Patriots team 9-2 that their record is right now, leading their division, and as of right now have the number 1 seed? I mean, if you had told me all this going into the season, I'm sure all of you would have said, there's no chance in hell of that happening.
As I told you last night, I would have said wrong, Buffalo. Yeah, joke is on me. I got the egg on my face.
Yeah, and I'm sure every expert out there in the NFL is probably, they got egg on their face as well. I mean, and I'll tell you what the difference is. It's the coach. I mean, yes, they did make some moves in the offseason, spending the money and spending it wisely on some guys who they acquired. But it's all about the coach, Mike Vrabel. He is the one who's setting the tone here, and you've seen how he is this season. I mean, after the games, he's high-fiving people, not only his coaches but the players, and he's becoming the players' coach. And you've heard it from some of the players. They love playing for him, and you're seeing it firsthand. And I'm going to say this right now. I think he's the front runner to be the coach of the year, because not many people had the Patriots where they are right now. And there are even some people out there who said, and like you just said, Florio, there's the potential that the road to Super Bowl 60 could go through Foxborough, which we haven't said in quite a while. So, yeah, I mean, the Jets basically, they struck early, but the Patriots, to their credit, they knew, hey, it's early, we have a chance to respond, and respond they did. And another big game from Travion Henderson. Yes, he had lesser yardage, but he had 3 total touchdowns, 2 on the ground and 1 receiving. And another solid performance by Drake May. And the defense continues to play really well. And yeah, this run is just unbelievable right now. I mean, yes. And think the last 2 years they had 8 wins combined. And here they are in 2025, and they got 9 wins. And as of right now, I mean, if things go the way they are, with the schedule, there's a chance this team could have 13 wins. Because, as you mentioned, Florio, 4 of the 6 games that they have left are winnable games. The only ones that they probably won't be favored in are against your Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. So, yeah, 4 of those 6 are guaranteed. The other 2, they're going to be tough. So, but again, this Patriots team, so far this season, they've proven a lot of the experts wrong. So who knows? Maybe they can beat both Baltimore and Buffalo. I mean, look, they already went into Buffalo and beat the Bills. So they've already proven they can hang with these guys. So we'll see what happens. Still plenty of games left to be played, but right now everything is going good. And I'll tell you this right now, Florio, the game for your Buffalo Bills against Tampa, I think it's a must-win if they want to stay alive to once again be the AFC East champs.
Understatement of the century.
I mean, because like I said, with how easy the schedule is left for the Patriots, the Bills, if they want to keep their dreams of repeating as AFC East champs, they need wins. They basically would need to win out, and hope by some miracle the Patriots falter, which we haven't seen. So this is a must-win, and I'll tell you this, because if Buffalo somehow loses this game, you could pretty much forget about the AFC East for your Buffalo Bills.
Oh, it's over. It's
Yeah.
over.
They would basically just have to focus just getting in as a wild card.
Which they can do. Which they can certainly do.
Which I still believe they can do.
I'm not giving up on them yet.
As far as the AFC East goes, if like I said, if they lose to if Buffalo loses to Tampa, it's just going to make it much tougher for them. So we'll see. So nothing more for me to say. This impressive run continues. I think it's going to continue because they got Cincinnati next week, and then the New York Giants the following week before their bye week. So the stars seem to align for the Patriots. So with that being said, Florio, let's get on to the rest of week number 11. And as I always like to say, who's on bye this week? Well, we already mentioned one.
And there's only one other. We only have two teams on bye this week. The Indianapolis Colts and the New Orleans Saints. How about that? The two teams that met in Super Bowl 44. How about that? So
yeah, so those two you will not see in action this week.
No, you will not. So yeah, so I do have a theory about Buffalo, but I'll get into that when we get to the Buffalo game. So, well, the first three games that we're talking about, well, we did our Thursday night thing like we always do. Well, actually, no, because there's another game before that one. But MF, you're up first, MF. As we go to the Sunday games, and we started off with our final international series game of the season, 9:30 a.m. on the NFL Network and NFL Plus. It will be the Washington Commanders squaring off against MF's Miami Dolphins from Santiago Bernabeu Stadium in Madrid, Spain. I know MF will tell us more about it when we get to him because he knows the stadium a lot better than Bullock and I do. So, yeah, so Washington and Miami from the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium in Madrid, Spain, on the NFL Network. Now, for those of you who don't have the NFL Network, and this is only for the people of Washington and Miami, you can watch this game on your respective CBS affiliates. So for Washington, that will be WUSA, CBS Channel 9 in Washington. And MF, you and your fellow Dolphin fans, you should know this. WFOR, CBS Channel 4 in Miami. So that's where you can find it, the respective CBS affiliates. So let's see. On the call for this game, it'll be Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Jamie Erdahl on the call for that one. And the Miami Dolphins opening up as 2.5-point favorites. Regular season series history favors the Miami Dolphins 9-5. Last meeting was 2 years ago in Washington, and Miami absolutely smashed Washington 45-14. Washington's last win over Miami was 2019 in Miami. 17-16 was the final in that one. So with that, gentlemen, let's get into the Sunday slate of week number 11. Washington coach Dan Quinn took over defensive play calling duties, but it remains to be seen what the Commanders can correct with a different play caller. While their pass coverage will be impacted by losing both starting outside corners Trey Amos with a fibula and Marshawn Lattimore with an ACL, the defense ranks 28th versus the run over the last 5 weeks and will be without tackle Daron Payne, who's serving a suspension. Dan Quinn said we'll miss Darren for sure, or Daron for sure inside. His presence, his physicality. Payne will be replaced by second-year man Jer'Jon Newton, who is not as big or as strong as Payne, but can win with quickness. Miami, and rightfully so, joyously celebrated last week's surprise smash job over the Buffalo Bills but the celebrations ended as soon as the team boarded the plane to Madrid. Fullback Alec Ingold credited the Dolphins coaching staff for establishing a 24-hour rule and keeping them focused as they attempt to put together their first winning streak of the season. Coach Mike McDaniel insisted that looking to more than just the next game is quote-unquote a recipe for failure, and that the Dolphins are hyper-focused on the Commanders. The Commanders average 4.9 yards a rush, sixth highest in the NFL. On the contrary, the Dolphins allow 4.9 yards a rush, fifth worst in the NFL. The FPI actually gives it to Washington, but not overwhelmingly. It's very, very, you could say it's a smidgen of an FPI for Washington. Only 52% going with the Washington Commanders, but with all due respect, I disagree with that. I'm going with the Miami Dolphins to win this game. My final score, I'm going to go 32-20. The Miami Dolphins over the Washington Commanders. And let's also not forget, Jaden Daniels is out. Terry McLaurin is out. So this is a recipe for a Miami win. So give me the Dolphins. And MF, since you got the best of my team, I think it's only fair. Whenever I lose to a friend's team, I pay. And when I say I pay, I'm gonna do something I never thought I'd do. But this one's for you. This one's for Eric Carrier and the rest of your Dolphin family. Fins up. There, I said it. So, fins up to the Miami Dolphins for that incredible win last week. You deserved that win. And you really owed us for all intents and purposes, you should have won that game in Buffalo. I'm not going to lie. Buffalo had no business winning that game, but somehow we did. But in all seriousness, though, MF, your Dolphins going against the Commanders, Madrid, Spain, the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. You know this stadium very well. So, home of Real Madrid, is that correct?
Yes, it is. It's really going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Look, the Santiago Bernabeu is legendary. It's one of the most iconic stadiums, one of the iconic soccer stadiums in the world. And yes, when we talk about the Santiago Bernabeu, it is indeed the home of Real Madrid. And what to really give this a compass, or to really give this I guess you could call it true justice. It is the home of Real Madrid, and it's one of the homes that they normally do at the for the Spanish soccer team when they're doing their run, when they do their international friendlies. The Bernabeu was actually created. It actually was created back in 1947, but it was called the Estadio Real Madrid. Then it got its Estadio Santiago Bernabeu. It was renamed back in 1955. So, it normally has it seats over 83,186 fans. It was, like I said, it was built and opened. It made its opening back in 1947, on December 14th, 1947. Then was redone many times and everything else. And the most recent that they actually did a 1.76 billion euros. Now remember, this is about $1 billion renovation for the beautiful stadium itself. It's been the home of Real Madrid since then, and it was actually named after legendary soccer player Santiago Bernabeu who was the president, one of the original presidents of Real Madrid. And it is one of the most iconic stadiums of all time. Like I said, it's been the home of the UEFA Champions League final. 4 times it's done it. 1957, 1969, 1980, and most recently, it was the home of the final in 2010. They've also hosted the Copa Libertadores final. That was in 2018. And it's also been a part, and it was also been in also was the home of the 1982 World Cup final. Yes, the World Cup final was in 1982, and it was in that particular stadium, marking the only time in the history of the game that this has hosted a UEFA Euro Championship and a World Cup final in its entirety. So, yeah, and for the first time ever, this beautiful stadium now becomes the home of an NFL game, a regular season NFL game. For all you fans out there, they have gone to Spain before, but it used to be at the Olympic Stadium in Barcelona. They used to do a lot of NFL games over there back in the day. So, first time for Madrid. They get Miami versus Washington. And I'm with you, Anthony. I give it to the Miami Dolphins as well. I really feel like maybe we might have figured out something last week. Running the football seems to be the formula. A great performance by Devon Achane. I expect him to continue that run with Julian Wright, with the guys that they have. I think Tua will have a good day, not a great day. I think he'll be fine. But again, run the football. That seems like that's going to be the recipe. They did against Buffalo. I think they can do it against Washington. I really feel like this is going to be their moment. Give me the Dolphins to win. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, and the other thing is, now if guys like Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin were healthy, then I would have gone the exact opposite, and I would have gone with I absolutely would have gone with the Commanders, but those two guys are out. It's just so many other injuries for them. It's just been shall we say, a hard time season for Washington after that NFC Championship game appearance they had last season, which nobody even expected. So, but yeah, I think maybe Miami figured something out, and like you said, with running the football, and if I were Coach McDaniel, I would continue to do the same exact thing. So, yeah, so I'm going to go with Miami to win this one as well. So, there's really nothing more to say. So, let's move on to the next game for you.
And before we do, we have some breaking news from the college football world. Clemson has just upset Louisville 20-19. Huge win for Clemson. So, in what has been a very disappointing season for Dabo and the boys, big win for the Clemson Tigers here tonight. So, we'll see if that will definitely help towards their bowl eligibility. No doubt about that. All righty. So, with that being said, let's get into the first of our early afternoon games on Sunday. We have 7 of them, I believe. Yes, 7. And we started off with an NFC South divisional matchup on Fox. The Carolina Panthers squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Jason Benetti, Brady Quinn, and Sarah Kustok are going to have the call of that one. And Atlanta opening up as a 3.5-point favorite, but they met earlier in the season, and Carolina absolutely smashed Atlanta 30-0 in Charlotte. So with that win, Carolina cuts Atlanta's series lead to 37-24. Last year in Atlanta, Carolina won a wild one, 44-38 in overtime. Falcons' last home win was the year before, 2023, a 24-10 final. So MF, started with you here. The Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons kicking off the 1 o'clock games, the first of our 7 1 o'clock games for Sunday. Carolina smashing Atlanta 30-0 in Charlotte. But this time it's in Atlanta. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and right now I kind of feel like Atlanta, they're a lot more better at home than they are on the road. Anthony, you know really well because it was the game when Buffalo went to Atlanta. That was when Bijan Robinson absolutely smashed the Buffalo Bills. So I kind of feel like this is kind of that revenge type of mentality. Yeah, Carolina has been up and down, and so has Atlanta. So something's got to give here. And I kind of feel like Atlanta at home are a lot more better. So I kind of feel like Atlanta's going to figure it out. Penix, I think Drake London will figure it out. I think you're going to have Kyle Pitts. And if Bijan's Bijan, then I just don't see how Carolina gets the win here. Give me the Atlanta Falcons. Close game, but the Falcons wins it. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Atlanta as well. I mean, because like you said, they are better at home, and Carolina, like you said, they're basically an up and down team. So, and look, I mean, I think Penix is going to, like you said, play better, and with Drake London, and especially if Bijan Robinson has one of those games, if he does, that's going to be very tough for Carolina to try to overcome. So, I'm going to go with Atlanta as well. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah. Give me a second here. It's very far down on my list here. All right. The theme this week has been the Panthers' inability to get the ball downfield, particularly to rookie receiver Teterow and McMillan. They averaged only 11.25 points over the last 4 games, and last week the New Orleans Saints might have discovered the winning formula versus Carolina. Load up to stop running back Rico Dowdle and the run game and dare quarterback Bryce Young to beat you. Even in a 30-0 win over Atlanta, Carolina struggled offensively. Young only passed for 114 yards, and the run game produced only 110. Look for the Panthers to make adjustments. Since week 4, Falcons wide receiver Drake London has the 5th most receiving yards, 532, and is tied for the 2nd most receiving touchdowns, 6. London has done some of his best work against zone coverage. 44 catches for 557 yards, 5th most in the league, and 3 touchdowns per NFL Next Gen stats. The Panthers just so happen to have played zone coverage on a league high 84.8% of dropbacks. Bryce Young is 5-4 as the starter this season, 1 win shy of matching his total number of wins from the first 2 seasons of his career combined, coming in at 6-22. FPI gives it to Atlanta, 59% going with the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons to win this one as well. I'm going to go 28-21 Atlanta defeats Carolina. All right, guys. You can make the argument. This is the game of the early window right here. It's our number 2 game of the week. If not for the cross-flex game we decided to do, this would have been our game of the week, but it's still a biggie no matter what. On CBS, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers squaring off against my Buffalo Bills, Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park. Iron Eagle, J.J. Watt, Evan Washburn will be on the call. Buffalo opening up as a 5.5-point favorite. Tampa Bay, however, leads the all-time series 8-5. Last meeting was 2 years ago on a Thursday night in Buffalo. Buffalo winning the game 24-18. Tampa's last win over Buffalo, 2021. MF, you remember we had this game. That was when Tampa Bay won it in overtime, 33-27, back when Tom Brady was in Tampa Bay. So, and here's the thing, though. Here's a fun little stat for you. This is only the 4th time they've met in Buffalo. They played only 3 times in Buffalo. Buffalo has won all 3 of those games. Tampa Bay has never won in Buffalo. So that's definitely a sign. And the other big sign, of course, for Tampa Bay, still no Mike Evans, still no Chris Godwin, and still no Bucky Irving. All three of them have been ruled out. But Buffalo will be without their leading receiver, Dalton Kincaid, the tight end. But some reinforcements are on the way, including Josh Palmer, Khalil Shakir, and a handful and a host more of others. Will possibly be back for including TJ Sanders. We'll get to that in a little bit. So, Michael Bullock, we started with you here. It's our number 2 game of the week. Big one here. Tampa Bay, Buffalo. Tampa Bay coming off of that tough luck loss to your Patriots at Raymond James Stadium last week. Buffalo, of course, getting embarrassed by MF's Dolphins. Something's got to give here, especially both teams are under pressure, but let's be realistic. Way more pressure on Buffalo, given their expectations. You said it was a must-win. You damn right it is.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, like I just said, this is a must-win game for Buffalo because if they have any chance of repeating as AFC East champs, they need to start winning now, and that's why I said that this is definitely the definition of a must-win game for them. And because if they lose this game for you, like I said, it's going to be very tough for Buffalo to try to catch up to New England. I mean, especially with the strength. I mean, they have the easiest remaining schedule left, the Patriots, with the exception of 2 games. So Buffalo needs wins, and they also need the Patriots to falter, which we haven't seen as lately during that 8-game winning streak the Patriots are on. So yeah, and Buffalo is going to be motivated after the way they got embarrassed by the Miami Dolphins. So and plus you're back at home. Let's not forget about that too. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills to win this one. I think Tampa makes it close, but I think Buffalo will pull this one out. So give me your Buffalo Bills to win this one. So it's yours, Florio.
Buccaneers coach Todd Bowles is very conscious of how explosive the Bills' offense can be, namely quarterback Josh Allen, running and passing, and running back James Cook. Buffalo averages the second most yards a game at 384 and leads the NFL in rushing yards at 153. After yielding several explosive plays against the Patriots last week, the Bucs are trying to keep that from happening again. Todd Bowles said James Cook is dangerous. He's very dangerous. He can do a lot of things running and catching the football. If you're half a step late, he's going to take it to the house. The Bills' defense is starting to get a bit healthier, with rookie defensive tackle TJ Sanders with a knee set to be activated from IR. The group will look to bounce back against the run after allowing the Dolphins to rush for their season high of 197 yards. Defensive coordinator Bobby Babich said, "We didn't get the guy on the ground in the situations we needed to, and that's across the board. And when you think it's getting better, all of a sudden the Dolphins game shows up. And you look back at it, you're like, why? So we've got to answer that why. And I know the guys will respond to it." Josh Allen has exactly 2 turnovers in all 3 of the Bills' losses. He has only 1 turnover in their 6 wins. FPI gives the edge to Buffalo, 61%. Going with the Buffalo Bills. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills to win this game as well. Close game. I'm going to go 27-20. I think Buffalo will eke it out here. And I said I had a theory about Buffalo and during this run. And this is what I've noticed. In the even numbered years, 2020, 2022, and 2024, they were dangerous. They were scary. They were championship material in those 3 years, easily. They had easier runs to the division, including last year when they were the first team to win a division. They were the very first team to clinch a division on the 1st of December, just after Thanksgiving, for goodness sakes. But I've noticed in the odd numbered years, 2021 and 2023, 2021, they fell behind against the New England Patriots. And what did they do? Buffalo came back and won the division. 2023, MF, I'm sorry to bring up this painful memory, but you know this. Your Dolphins, for all intents and purposes, your Dolphins should have won the AFC East in 2023. but they gagged it away and then opened the door for Buffalo, and Buffalo caught fire at the right time. I've noticed when the calendar turns right around late November into December, this is usually where Buffalo turns the burners on. And if they can do that, like they did in 21 and 23, that's the only way they're going to have a chance. But this time around, with the way New England's playing, with how easier their schedule is getting, yeah, the road to a 6th straight AFC East division title is not looking good. It's looking very bleak right now. And I know things are looking bleak right now. But what have I always told you guys? What have I always preached about? Real fans. Real fans stick by their teams no matter what. In good times and in bad times. We're going through bad times. Hell, we're going through hard times right now. And after that absolutely putrid performance, and I use the word very, very, very loosely. Yeah, putrid. I mean, that's the word of the day. It's almost like they didn't even want to be there, for goodness sakes. I mean, they had a garbage time score, and they got too big for their britches. I mean, coming off the big win against Kansas City, they were flying high. They were thinking, we're unstoppable. And they like, Miami, please, we're going to run them out of their house. Yeah, somebody got ran out of the house. It was us, not them. They were a very rude house. They treated us very poorly. They not only punched us in the mouth, they beat the holy hell out of us. Vision style. That's how bad it was. But I know they're without Kincaid, but with Tampa, but the thing that gives me some belief here is that there's no Bucky Irving, there's no Chris Godwin, and there's no Mike Evans. So I respect Tampa Bay. They're a very good team, and Baker is amazing. I mean, he's doing his personal best job of his career. This has been he's played his best ball since getting to Tampa. And I'm sure he's going to find a way to have a big game, but I believe. I mean, I know it's bleak, but as a real fan and based on what I've been preaching, I have never, there have been times where I have lost faith in this team. Right now, is one of those times, but the thing is, good times or bad times, hard times, what have you, you stick by your team no matter what. I'm not giving up on these guys. If they're not going to win the division this year, that's fine. I don't care how they make the playoffs, just as long as they make it. I just want to see them in the playoffs. And if they do make it, you don't want to see this team in January. I'll tell you that right now. Because they're on a mission. They had the expectations. They haven't really been the same since the New England game, honestly. I wish we could turn the calendar back to September when they were rolling and when they steamrolled through September, when they were 4-0. And going into this season, you guys know this. I was excited. I was so excited. It was the most excited I have been about a Buffalo season ever. Mainly because of how close they were a year ago. And I know the division may not be in the cards, but do you necessarily have to win the division to win a Super Bowl? Hell, do you have to necessarily be the number 1 seed to win the Super Bowl? No. We've seen it happen before. We've seen teams that we least expect go on these miracle runs. And who knows? Maybe Buffalo could have a miracle run. You never know. I know it's bleak, but all we have to do is believe. I know Bills Mafia. I know how you all feel. Believe me, I'm right there with you. But the thing is, while some of you may want to throw the towel in and give up, damn it, I'm not doing that. Whatever happens, happens. Let the chips fall where they may, as MF would say. So with that, I'm going with Buffalo. Not going to be easy. I know I'm going to be sweating this game out too. So 27-20, I'm going with Buffalo to win. They damn sure better if they want to have any chance of keeping our incredible AFC East run going. But even if they don't win it, fine. I just want them. I mean, if I have to settle for a wild card, damn it, I'll settle for it. I don't care. I just want them in the playoffs. That's it. So by any means necessary. So 27-20, Buffalo wins. MF. If not for the big cross-flex game on our end, this would have been our game of the week. Tampa Bay and Buffalo. Must win for both sides, really, but a lot more for Buffalo.
A lot more for Buffalo, no doubt about it. Anthony, you alluded that you were going to be sweating through this game because you think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to be real blunt with you. I'm going to be real honest with you, Anthony. There's nothing to sweat here. There's nothing to worry about. And I'm going to call it right now. Buffalo destroys Tampa Bay. I'm calling it now. Tampa does not have Bucky Irving. They don't have Chris Godwin. They don't have Mike Evans. Who the bleep do they have on that offensive side? And you want to talk about Buffalo? Buffalo got humiliated by the Miami Dolphins. They got embarrassed by the Miami Dolphins. They got ran out of the Hard Rock by the Miami Dolphins. And everybody has been piling on Buffalo for the last week to say they are frauds. That their window has closed for the Super Bowl. That Sean McDermott should be fired. That Josh Allen is not elite. That he's not a great quarterback. That he's a scrub. That's what Buffalo's been saying. That's what Buffalo's been hearing for the last week or so. That the Patriots are now the team to beat in the AFC East. That the Patriots are going to walk over and win the AFC now. So, and a lot of people are saying that Buffalo's window, that their Super Bowl window is now closed. That they're not even a relevant team anymore in the AFC. I want Buffalo to hear these words right now. And I hope you're hearing this. And I hope you're pissed the F off right now. I hope you're fired up. Because that's what everybody in the media has been saying about your team for the last week. So, I hope Sean McDermott grabbed all these clips and I hope he plastered it on the wall. I hope that the team gets the notion that defensively, you need to step up. Allen, you got to play like you're the elite quarterback. You're the flipping MVP of the league from last year. Where the heck were you against Miami? Because that guy, I don't know who the hell that was on the field. And trust me, as a Miami Dolphin fan, and I'll say this, as a Miami Dolphin fan, I loved seeing that Josh Allen that I saw on Sunday. But Buffalo fans, they don't want to see that. They don't need that. You got to be a lot more better than that. And the thing is, Baker Mayfield may be good, but when you got no weapons to throw to, when you got a pissed off Buffalo Bills defense that's probably going to come after him like salt on a peanut. Anthony, I'm calling this right now. This is not close. This is a beatdown, a statement by the Bills that we're not effing done yet. New England may be on top of the AFC East right now, but not for long. We are coming after this AFC East because we're the effing Buffalo Bills. We're still the kings of the AFC East. So you got to knock us off before you take our crown. The immortal words of what Joe Davis said, to be the man, you got to knock them out. And the last time I checked, Buffalo is not knocked out yet. So Buffalo's going to win and win emphatically to make a statement to say we are not done. Yo, don't write us off. This AFC Eastern Division race is not over by a long shot. Anthony, you have said it. Because New England choked a few years ago for the AFC East, that Miami choked at the end with the AFC on the line. Think about this. Yes, it's a 1.5 game lead, but what if Buffalo beats New England that second time around? What if New England chokes against the Baltimore Ravens and Buffalo wins out? Next thing I know, what is that? An AFC Eastern Division title for the Buffalo Bills.
6 in a row.
That would be 6 in a row. So don't rest your laurels just yet. It ain't over by a long shot. Buffalo makes a statement on Sunday.
Man, oh man, I don't even know how to follow that. But after hearing that, I want to run through a wall right now. Oh man, that was awesome, MF. I appreciate that. Very much appreciate that encouragement, man. I mean, wow. We'll see what happens. It's going to be something. All right, let's move on here. We go to our number 4 game of the week, I believe. I believe this came in at number 4 on our end. We have the Los Angeles Chargers squaring off against the Jacksonville Jaguars from Everbank Field in Jacksonville. Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta alongside Aditi Kinkabuela. And spread favors the Chargers. Los Angeles opening up as a 3-point favorite. Chargers lead the all-time series regular season 9-4. Last meeting was 2022 in Los Angeles. Jacksonville smashed the Chargers 38-10. Last meeting in Jacksonville 2019. The Chargers smashed Jacksonville 45-10. Jaguars have not beaten the Chargers at home since 2017. 20-17 in overtime. So let's get to the Chargers and the Jags here, boys. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert was the most animated he'd been all season in last Sunday's win over the Steelers, arguing with officials about different hits. He was sacked 5 times and pressured 12 times in the game, but he said Wednesday that he doesn't think the arguing will help him. Herbert said, if I make a big deal, odds are they're not going to call it. This should be a game in which the Jaguars' underachieving pass rush has a big day. Herbert has been sacked the 3rd most times in the NFL at 33 and been hit a league-high 134 times. And his 2 starting offensive tackles, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, are both out for the season. Yet the Jaguars have had advantageous situations before and not delivered. Edge rusher Josh Hines-Allen, who needs a half sack to set the all-time franchise record, and Trayvon Walker have combined for just 4 sacks this season. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence has 79 career passing touchdowns, one shy of becoming the 4th player in Jaguars history to reach 80 passing touchdowns with the franchise. FPI goes with the Chargers, only 57% going with the Chargers, but I'm going with the Los Angeles Chargers to win this game. I'm going to go 20-16. The Chargers defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars. MF, move on to you. Chargers and Jacksonville, number 4 game of the week on our end. Like I said, Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt for the Chargers out for the season. But then again, look who's out for the season on Jacksonville. Travis Hunter. That is ouch. So, MF, Chargers, Jacksonville, whenever you're ready to come back in, I'm sure you probably stepped away for a moment. So, all right, we got him. All right, MF, Chargers at Jacksonville, number 4 game of the week for us. Big loss for Jacksonville, though. Travis Hunter done for the year.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to cost them in the grand scheme of things. I just feel like the Chargers now has all the momentum going in their way, and without Travis Hunter, which was their absolute Swiss Army knife, their best player, I'm sorry, I don't think this is going to happen here. To me, it's simple. Game over. So, yeah, I think that the Chargers I think the Chargers are going to win, and there's really nothing more to add. So, Michael Bullock, it is all yours.
Bullock, are you there? Oh, I think we may have lost him. So we'll await his return. Hopefully he'll be back soon enough. But while we wait for Bullock to come back, let's just get into our next matchup here as we go back to the Fox side of the ledger for an NFC North divisional matchup.
Hey, I'm right here.
The Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the
Hey, I'm right here
Chicago
for you.
Bears.
Anthony, we got Bullock. We got Bullock.
Bullock is back. Okay, great. All right, Bullock. Sorry about that. Chargers in Jacksonville. Who you got?
Yeah, I got to go with the Chargers. I mean, like you said, the task just got tough for Jacksonville because, like you said, Travis Hunter done for the season, and it's only going to make things tougher for them. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers as well. So now we move on.
Yes, we do, and we move on to our next matchup, which is the NFC North divisional matchup with the Minnesota Vikings, with the Chicago Bears squaring off against the Minnesota Vikings from US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. And on the call for Fox, believe it or not, it's the A team. It's going to be Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi. They will be in Minnesota for this one. Second meeting of the season between these two. You remember they met on the season premiere of Monday Night Football in Chicago, and Minnesota won that game by a score of 27-24. Forgot to mention that the spread favors Minnesota. Minnesota opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. And with that Minnesota win in Chicago, they add to their series lead. It's now 69-57 with 2 ties in the regular season. Last year in Minnesota won that game by a score of 30-12. Chicago's last win in Minnesota was the year before in 2023. Chicago won 12-10. So I believe this one goes to MF. So MF, Minnesota, and Chicago, round 2. Or should I say Chicago at Minnesota, round 2 for these NFC North rivals. Chicago. I'm trying to think what they did, but it'll come to me. Minnesota losing to Baltimore, I know that.
Yep.
In Chicago, they had to come back. They literally had to come back from way down to beat the Giants in a snow flurry Soldier Field. So Chicago, Minnesota. Chicago looking for revenge. Minnesota looking for the sweep for the second year in a row.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's going to be a very interesting game, no doubt about that. At first, I felt like Minnesota was probably going to win, but I kind of feel like maybe Chicago gets this one. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be very interesting to say the very least. And yeah, really nothing more to say. So, yeah. Anthony, Michael Bullock, it's a close game, but I kind of feel like Minnesota slight favorite. So nothing more to say. So it's yours.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I think Chicago has been playing well. I mean, obviously, Caleb Williams. I mean, he's obviously been playing well, and obviously, it's just been tough for Minnesota. So I'm going to go with Chicago, but I think it's going to be a close one. So give me the Bears to win this. So it's yours, Florio.
Caleb Williams' Houdini act, as Coach Ben Johnson called the quarterback's scrambling ability, allowed the Bears to win in Week 10. It was Williams' 4th winning drive of the season, which is tied with Tampa's Baker Mayfield and Denver's Bo Nix for the most in the NFL. Williams also has the second highest QBR at 94 with 3 touchdown passes and 0 turnovers in the final 2 minutes of either half this season. Williams said you just get in that mode. Defenses have shown you throughout the game what they game plan for you, so you get into a rhythm and a flow toward the end of the game. the mindset changes in the sense of we have no other option at that point other than to score and fight and fight and fight. And that's what we do and we've done and what we've done. Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy has been one of the NFL's least accurate passers this season, ranking 44th of 46 quarterbacks who have made at least one start in off-target percentage, 22.1%. This week added an additional challenge, a bruised right hand that limited his practice participation. McCarthy and Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell downplayed the injury's significance, but there are plenty of reasons to be concerned about accuracy when McCarthy's throwing hand is affected. The Bears' defense is vulnerable, having allowed the NFL's fifth most touchdown passes at 20, but can McCarthy take advantage? Even though the Bears are tied with the Lions for the best record in the NFC North, Williams is 1-7 versus the division, including 0-2 this season. Listen to this FPI, guys. They give it to Minnesota 50.1%. That's it. 50.1 for Minnesota. That basically means this game can go either way. And I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears to win this game as well. Especially after what I just read about McCarthy here. So I'm going to take a chance and go with Chicago here. 23-17. I'm 23-17. I'm going with Chicago, but do not be surprised if Minnesota does win this game. Moving on to our next game, staying on the Fox side of the ledger, we got the Green Bay Packers squaring off against the New York Giants, MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, in the Meadowlands. Adam Amin, and welcome to the Fox family, Drew Brees. Drew Brees will make his NFL on Fox broadcast debut. It will be Adam Amin, Drew Brees, and Christina Pink. And Green Bay opening up as a 7-point favorite. And the series history between these two legendary franchises, regular season wise, it favors Green Bay 29-25 with 2 ties. However, the Giants have won the last 2 meetings. 2 years ago in New York, Giants won 24-22. The year before, they played in London, and the Giants also won that 27-22. Green Bay's last win against the Giants overall and in New York, 2019, 31-13. So, Michael Bullock, we started with you here. We got the Packers and the Giants. Packers looking to bounce back after that defensive battle, that tough luck loss to Philadelphia last Monday night. The Giants, they let one get away against Chicago in the snow flurries at Soldier Field. So, but more importantly, but on top of that, Bullock, the NFL on Fox broadcast debut. Welcome to the team, Drew Brees, to the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how he does in his debut on Fox, especially working with Adam Amin. So we'll see what happens. So, yeah, like you said, Green Bay losing, like you said, a low-scoring, tough game here, and yet the Giants definitely let one get away here. So. But I mean, obviously Green Bay is the better team. Obviously, and of course, let's not forget also no Jackson Dart for the Giants, and it's going to be Jameis Winston who's going to get the start. So yeah, so I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers to win this game. So there literally is nothing more to say. So it's yours, Florio.
Okay. Just looking to find. Okay. Packers coach Matt LaFleur and his staff spent the week trying to find a solution for their suddenly struggling offense. Maybe they should put the ball in the hands of their $220 million quarterback a little more instead of trying to run the ball so much. That would be just fine with Jordan Love. Jordan Love said, definitely. As a player, you always want that. You always want the pressure to be on you, to be able to get the team out of funks. You just got to trust the process and take one play at a time. But I love having the ball in my hands at all times, and I love that pressure. The Giants won't have much time to get things in order and make drastic changes after firing coach Brian Daboll on Monday. offensive coordinator Tim Kelly said, "You've got about 10 minutes, and the rest of the league doesn't really care." Tight ends coach and newly appointed offensive coordinator Tim Kelly said, "Interim coach Mike Kafka and defensive coordinator Shane Bowen spent time this week trying to figure out the team's fourth quarter woes. They better fix them quickly. Green Bay's 103 points in the fourth quarter are more than double what it has scored in any other quarter this season. The Packers are trying to avoid their third straight game with 13 or fewer points, which would be their longest streak since the 1999 Packers had 3 straight games." Solid FPI for Green Bay, 64% going with the Green Bay Packers. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers to win this game as well. I think they should win this one comfortably. 31-14, give me Green Bay over the Giants. So not much more to say. MF, Green Bay, and the Giants. Green Bay looking to bounce back after that low-scoring 10-7 defensive battle against Philly, which I know made you smile like a Cheshire cat last Monday night. Whereas the Giants, they let one get away with Chicago. Drew Brees making his NFL on Fox broadcasting debut. So, MF, Packers and Giants in the Meadowlands. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually got to go with the Green Bay Packers as well. I don't know what it is. I just feel like this is going to be one of those type of games where, yeah, just give me Green Bay to win it. And I just don't think there's anything else here. So, yeah, nothing more to say. And it's yours, Anthony.
All right, guys, we got 2 more. We have 2 more early games left, and we move on to our side of the ledger for our number 5 game of the week. AFC North divisional matchup. Second meeting this season between these two bitter rivals in the NFC North. The Cincinnati Bengals squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Acrisure Stadium, formerly formerly Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. And you remember the other meeting? It was a Thursday night football game on October the 16th where the Cincinnati Bengals upset the Pittsburgh Steelers 33-31 in what I believe was the most entertaining Thursday night game we've seen so far this season. Because of that Bengal win, but first let me announce on the call for CBS, Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins. They will be there. And with the Cincinnati win over Pittsburgh, but before I get into that, the spread favors Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh opening up as a 5.5-point favorite. With the Cincinnati win, it cuts Pittsburgh's regular season series lead down to 69-41. And we're in Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati actually won in Pittsburgh last season, 19-17. Pittsburgh's last home win over the Bengals was the year before, 2023. Final score there was 34-11. So I believe we go back to the top and me. So let's get into Bengals and Steelers. Sunday will be the biggest test to date for Cincinnati's rookie guard pairing of Dylan Fairchild, who missed the first game against Pittsburgh because of a knee injury, and Jalen Rivers. The offensive line has been playing well in recent weeks, but needs to contend with Steelers edge rusher Nick Herbig, who leads the league in pass rush win rate, 32.8%. And Bengals coach Zach Taylor said a lot of time it comes down to the trenches in this one, especially on the road with silent cadence and the advantages that creates for them. And so we have to do a great job. The Bengals, a.k.a. the league's worst rushing attack, ran all over the Steelers en route to an upset win in Week 7. Running back Chase Brown's 108 yards on 11 carries enabled quarterback Joe Flacco to unleash an effective quick passing game. This time, the Steelers are plenty aware that the key to slowing an offense that's averaging 37.6 points in its last 3 games is stopping Chase Brown. Steelers defensive tackle Cameron Hayward said the run game kind of stabilized everything. I know the wide receivers did an amazing job on their side of the ball and catching, and the quarterback got it out quick. But I just think if you can create more of those one-dimensional situations, you'll have a lot more success. Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase has a receiving touchdown in 3 straight games versus the Steelers. He would be the first player with a receiving touchdown in 4 straight games versus Pittsburgh since the great Carl Pickens for the Bengals, 1994 to 1996. FPI gives it to Pittsburgh, 59%, going with the Steelers. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game as well. I am going to go 30-23. Pittsburgh holds off Cincinnati, gets the payback from last month. So not much more to say. MF, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, our number 5 game of the week.
Yeah, Cincinnati Pittsburgh is going to be a good game, no doubt about it. I kind of have to feel like this is Pittsburgh's game to win. Look, Cincinnati doesn't have Joe Burrow just yet. Burrow will be back. He's starting his 21-day of return, so he should be back within the next 3 weeks. So I kind of feel like right now Pittsburgh probably has the edge here. Give me the Steelers to win it. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got to go with Pittsburgh as well. I mean, I just think they're the better team, and I just think Cincinnati. I think it just makes it very tough. I mean, especially with, I mean, I think it could be close, but I think at the end, I think Pittsburgh will somehow win this one. So give me Pittsburgh. Let's move on, Florio.
All right, the final early game of week number 11. An AFC South division matchup over on Fox, and it will feature the Houston Texans squaring off against the Tennessee Titans, Nissan Stadium in Nashville. Chris Myers, Mark Schlereth, and Jen Hale, they will be on the call for that one. And the spread fate is in favor of Houston. Houston opening up as a 6-point favorite. And this is their second meeting. They met in Houston at the end of September, and Houston absolutely smashed Tennessee 26-0. So they cut Tennessee's lead all the way down to 24-23. Last year in Nashville, Houston won. Matter of fact, Houston has won the last 4 meetings in a row in Nashville. 23-14 last year, and yep, okay. And Tennessee last won in Houston in 2020, a wild 41-38 game. So I believe this one goes, to MF, I believe. So yes, it does go to MF. I think I started the last one. All right, MF. Houston, it's Houston and Tennessee. We know Tennessee's a mess, but what about Houston last week? That insane comeback against the Jacksonville Jaguars, down 29-10 in the fourth quarter, scored 26 unanswered, outscoring Jacksonville 26-0 to win the game 36-29. Huge win for Houston. I mean, they were dead to rights, but what an incredible comeback against Jacksonville. And now they go into Tennessee, where they've won 4 years in a row. So MF, Houston and Tennessee to wrap up the early action.
And normally any other year, I know a lot of people are going to say it's almost very interesting to watch. But I will say this. If I could say, if there was ever a time where Tennessee could win, this may be the game. There is no Deshaun Watson. Or I should say, there is no oh my god, I'm drawing the blank.
Which
for the starting quarterback for Houston. Stroud's out.
Oh.
Stroud's not playing. He's injured. And he's already been ruled out.
Davis Mills.
And Davis Mills is now the starter. So that changes everything. However, I'm still going with the Texans. Even though that injury is devastating, and there's a lot of prognosticators that is actually calling for the Titans to upset Houston. So Houston, you're on upset alert. I'm calling it right now. But I think you're going to escape this game. Yes, Stroud is out. He will not play. Mills is the starter. So who knows? Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I think Houston is on upset alert, but I think they'll barely eke this one out here. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Houston Texans as well. So it's yours, Florio.
Houston has had two separate opportunities to get to 500 after starting the season 0-3. Both times the Texans lost, but they were facing opponents with winning records. This time they face a struggling Titans team that sports the worst record in the league. After a 19-point comeback win last week over Jacksonville, Texans defensive coordinator Matt Burke acknowledged the euphoria of the win, but said the message this week is, hey, let's put our head down. I hope we don't have to win that way again. The Titans were shut out by Houston when they played in week 4. Houston's stingy defense is allowing a league best 16.7 points a game, while the Titans are scoring an NFL low 14.4 points a game. 7 teams in the Super Bowl era since 1967 have shut out the same team twice in one season. Most recently in 2002, when the Atlanta Falcons did it to the Carolina Panthers. That will not happen if Titans quarterback Cam Ward can help it. Ward said, we got to own up to the little things that we did wrong in that game and correct them. They got 2 good edge rushers, so I have to be stepping up in the pocket and then also getting the ball out to help the O-line. Texans wide receiver Nico Collins hit season highs in targets 15 and receiving yards 136 last week versus Jacksonville, but has gone 3 straight games without a receiving touchdown. Despite all this, guys, Houston still has a favorable FPI here. 67% still going with Houston to win this game, and I'm still going to go with Houston to win, but it will be closer than you think. If Stroud was playing, I would have said 30-13 Houston, but with Davis Mills, I'm going to say 23-16, but I'm still going to go with Houston to win, even without CJ Stroud. And they better hope he recovers quickly because they're going to be on a short week this week because guess who's coming to their house Thursday night? My Buffalo Bills. And if they don't have CJ Stroud for that game, oh boy, that's all I'm going to say. We'll talk about that on Tuesday night when we preview that Thursday night game on Ridiculously Raw. That's it for the early window. Let's get into the late games. We got 4 of them, 2 on each network, 2 405 games on Fox, and as well as 2 425 games on CBS. And we start with the first of our 405 games. And it will, and both of these games, by the way, on Fox are both out of the NFC West. And this first one will feature the San Francisco 49ers squaring off against the Arizona Cardinals from State Farm Stadium, formerly the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale. Kevin Kugler, Daryl Moose Johnston, and Allison Williams, they will be on the call for Fox. Second meeting of the season between these two. In the first meeting, San Francisco winning in San Francisco 16-15. And they add to their series lead 37-31 now as it stands for San Francisco. Last year in Arizona smashed San Francisco 47-24. The year before in 23, San Francisco smashed Arizona 45-29 in Arizona. So I believe Bullock starts this one off. So Bullock, San Francisco and Arizona to kick off the late games.
Yeah, the injuries continue to riddle the 49ers, but they do get Brock Purdy back, so that should be a good sign for them. But yeah, but things are really different for Arizona, who are really, really struggling. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers to win this. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah. With the 49ers without star linebacker Fred Warner with an ankle, the 49ers have been more susceptible against tight ends than in recent seasons. They've given up the 3rd most touchdowns to the position, 6 of any team. And now they get the Cardinals when their star tight end, Trey McBride, figures to be a focal point of an offense that's missing receivers Marvin Harrison Jr. with appendicitis and Zay Jones with an Achilles. McBride has been particularly effective with quarterback Jacoby Brissett. averaging 8 catches for 82 yards and 1.25 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks. 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan said offensively they know how to move the ball. Brissett's been playing very well this last month. And I'm inclined to agree, believe it or not. The Cardinals had 8 players, including 6 starters, not practice because of injuries Thursday. They will be without their top receiver in Marvin Harrison Jr. and could be playing with a new right tackle. Arizona saw the downside of playing without 2 starting cornerbacks last week, but their defense might be healthier because defensive lineman Darius Robinson and Walter Nolan III were limited at practice. Left tackle Paris Johnson Jr. said he has never seen a team as beat up as the current Cardinals roster. But their coach, Jonathan Gannon, said that this is life in the NFL. The 49ers are averaging 22 points a game, 23rd in the NFL. That is the team's fewest points per game through 10 games since averaging 17.4 in 2017, which was Kyle Shanahan's first season in San Francisco. But the FPI still gives the edge to the 49ers, 58% going with San Francisco. I'm going to go with San Francisco to win this one as well. I'm going to go with that same score from the last game. I'm going to go 23-16, but I'm going to go with San Francisco to defeat Arizona. So not much more to say. MF, you heard it. Marvin Harrison out for Arizona. Jacoby Brissett still in at quarterback for Kyler Murray. And correct me if I'm wrong, but did I hear that Brock Purdy's coming back this week for San Fran? And if that's the case, then
it's not only that he's right now a game time decision, but by all indications, Brock is back. He will be under center for the 49ers on Sunday afternoon at 4:05. And if that's the case, Niners win, hands down. There's no doubt in my mind. So give me the 49ers to win. Bullock, it's yours.
He started it. So, all right. And we move on to the other game. And this is it, guys. This is the big one. This is the NFC game of the week. First place in the NFC West to the winner, the Seattle Seahawks, squaring off against the Los Angeles Rams, SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Joe Davis, Greg Olson, Pam Oliver. They'll be in SoFi. First meeting of the season between these two. They will meet again in Seattle on a Thursday night later in the season. And as far as the I'm sorry, I didn't mention the 49er Cardinals spread. San Francisco opening up as a 3-point favorite. The Rams opening up as a 3-point favorite against Seattle. Series history between these two. It currently favors Seattle in the regular season, 28-25. Both teams split last season, but both teams won on the road. So Seattle won in Los Angeles last year, 30-25. Rams' last home win over Seattle was the year before, 2023, 17-16. So here we go, guys. NFC game of the week right here. Okay. This matchup pits Seattle's 5th-ranked scoring defense against one of the leading MVP candidates in Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, who has thrown a league-high 25 touchdown passes against only 2, count them, 2 interceptions. Seahawks coach Mike McDonald has faced Stafford just twice as a coach or a coordinator. McDonald said, but this is probably the best I've seen him play. He's decisive. They're putting him in great situations, diagnosing defenses at a really high level, handling the protections at a high level. They're explosive right now in their pass game, and then they're converting in a lot of those conversion downs also, which keeps drives extended. The winner of this game will break the current first-place tie in the NFC West. According to ESPN research, the Rams have a 50% chance to win the division, while the Seahawks have a 33% chance. If the Rams win, their chances of winning the NFC West jump to 66%, and Seattle would fall all the way down to 19%. If Seattle wins, their chances rise to 55%, and LA would fall down to 27%. Despite the significance of the game, Stafford said, sometimes people look at them like they count for 2. And I understand that, but it's just another opportunity, I think, for us to try to go get better. Seahawks receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba leads the NFL with 1,041 receiving yards. He's the first player in Seahawks history with 1,000 receiving yards in the team's first 9 games. FPI gives a slight edge to the Rams, 60%, going with Los Angeles. This is very tough. Honest to God, this is very tough. I know the Rams are the favorites, and rightfully so, especially at home. But with what I've seen the last couple of weeks in particular by the Seattle Seahawks, after what they did to Washington 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Football, and then what they went ahead and did against Arizona last week, I got to go with Seattle. It's high time I start making bold predictions instead of going with the safe picks here. I know the Rams are the safe pick. And would I be surprised if they win? Certainly not. Certainly not. But I don't know, guys. I just got this feeling about Seattle right now. And you know what? I'm going to go on an MF-like little sprint here. I'm going to channel my inner MF when I say, in my honest opinion, right now, I believe the Seattle Seahawks are championship material. I believe this is the best team in the NFC right now. After what I saw them do the last 2 weeks, if they keep doing that, that's bad news for anybody. Not just in the NFC, but God forbid, if this team makes the playoffs, you do not want to see this team in January. And if they go to the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter who comes out of the AFC. It is going to be very tough sledding. I'm going with Seattle. I'm going to make a bold prediction here. Like I said, if the Rams win, I certainly wouldn't be surprised. And, well, at least I took a chance. And the bold predictions haven't been going as well for me as this year as they did last year. So maybe I'm due for one here, but I'm going with Seattle. I got a great feeling about this team. I'm very high on this team, especially after what I saw the last 2 weeks. Seattle wins 28-23. Give me Seattle to steal one in Los Angeles. But I would not be surprised if the Rams win. Very tough to call. But based on the body of work over the last couple of weeks, the way they've been playing, Seattle looks like a world beater right now. 28-23, close game. I'm going Seattle. MF, how do you follow that? Seahawks, Rams, first place in the NFC, sole possession of first in the NFC West to the winner in the NFC game of the week.
No doubt about it. Look, I'm actually in a total agreement with you. I feel like Seattle is without a doubt the best team out there. Look, the Rams have been really good, but the last few weeks I've been watching Seattle, especially there was that Monday night game where they played out west. There was that West Coast Monday night game, and Seattle looked absolutely phenomenal. And I couldn't just take my eyes off of the Seahawks, and I'm like, oh my God, they're back. I was like, if they play like this, the running game looked really good. If their running game gets going and that defense looks like that Legion of Boom defense, if that's what they're getting, Anthony, your prediction is about to come true. So give me the Seattle Seahawks to win and take over sole possession of first place in the NFC West. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna make it unanimous here. I mean, like you said, Florio, based on what we saw the last 2 games, I mean, no disrespect to the LA Rams. I mean, they have been really good themselves here, and I get they're playing at home, but there's just something about this Seattle Seahawks team that makes me feel like that they can do this. And Sam Darnold, I mean, he's proven himself. I mean, everybody thought, when he left Minnesota for Seattle, that he's going to be back to being an average guy. I have not seen that yet at all. So, yeah, I think Seattle will definitely win. But as you said, I will not at all be surprised if the LA Rams were to win this one. So, but I'm going to go with Seattle. So, nothing more to say. I think it's time we get into the 425 matchups on CBS.
Indeed, we do. We started off, though, with our Zonk game of the week. Out of the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens squaring off against the Cleveland Browns, Huntington Bank Stadium in Cleveland, the Dog Pound. On the call for CBS will be Andrew Catalan, Charles Davis, and Jason McCourty, alongside of AJ Ross. Baltimore opening up as a 7.5-point favorite. And this series history, very one-sided. It's all Baltimore, 37-15. However, last year in Cleveland, the Browns stunned the Ravens 29-24. But this is their second meeting of the season. They met in Baltimore, and Baltimore absolutely smashed Cleveland 41-17 all the way back in week number 2. And like I said, last year in Cleveland won 29-24. The year before, Baltimore smashed Cleveland there 28-3. So I believe we start this one off with MF. MF, I'm sorry, man. Zonk game of the week. The Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns in the Dog Pound in Cleveland. Your thoughts?
The reason why I'm going with Baltimore is pretty simple. It looks like the Ravens are back. The running game with Derrick Henry is starting to come back to life with the return. And we notice with the return of Lamar Jackson, the team is getting better and better. Defensively, they're starting to get a little more sound. I'm telling you guys, this might be the team you don't want to face, especially now. And they're slowly creeping up. They're getting closer and closer to that division lead. Pittsburgh is starting to look behind them, and they're starting to see the Ravens are flying. And they are going, and they're gaining, and they're gaining, and they're gaining. And it's going to come to a point that if they get all the way back, they're gonna overtake, and God knows what's going to happen after that. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Cleveland Browns. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
Yeah, I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens as well. And like you said, Fletch, it looks like they're back, and that could be bad news for the AFC. And we'll see what happens the rest of the way with Baltimore. But yeah, it looks like they could be that team that could contend for the AFC again. So we'll see. So it's yours, Florio. I'm going with Baltimore.
Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson is not at full strength because of knee soreness, which puts extra emphasis on protecting him from edge rusher Myles Garrett. In Garrett's last 9 games against Baltimore, he has recorded 8.5 sacks and 14 quarterback hits. Ravens fullback Patrick Ricard said he's probably one of the best edge rushers this league has ever seen. Through 9 games, the Ravens have allowed 25 sacks, which is one more than they gave up all of last season. The Browns are reeling after a disastrous loss at the Jets, but they have typically played the Ravens tight. Baltimore has not swept Cleveland since Kevin Stefanski's first season as coach in 2020, and the Browns are 3-2 at home against the Ravens under Stefanski. Jackson was hurt or inactive for 2 of those wins, but Cleveland pulled off a 29-24 upset last season. Browns coach Kevin Stefanski said, obviously, the offense is a huge challenge with him in there. Just his ability as a passer, the ability that his running element adds to their offense. They have playmakers throughout the roster. The Browns have allowed 264.9 yards a game, second fewest in the NFL behind Houston. Cleveland has given up a league low 15.7 first downs a game. But the FPI, the highest FPI of the week, overwhelming in favor of the Baltimore Ravens. 78% going with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. I am going to go 27-13. The Baltimore Ravens defeat the Cleveland Browns and continue to get back on track. And if they keep doing what they're doing, Bullock's Patriots could be in trouble when they have that big game next month on December 21st, just before Christmas. So makes that game a lot more interesting if they keep playing well. The other half of the 425 games, huge game on our side of the ledger. It's our number 3 game of the week, as it will feature this huge AFC West divisional matchup. The Kansas City Chiefs squaring off against the Denver Broncos from Empower Field at Mile High in Denver. Hello, friends. Jim Nance, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson. And the spread favors Kansas City. Kansas City opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. Kansas City leads the regular season series 73-56. Last year, both teams split. Denver winning in Denver 38-0. Matter of fact, the Broncos have won the last 2 years in Denver. They won the last 2 meetings in Denver. 38-0 last year, but that was a meaningless game, by the way. And then the year before was 24-9. Kansas City last won in Denver in 2022. Final score there was 34-28. So I believe it's Michael Bullock who starts this one off. So Bullock, Kansas City and Denver to round out the late games here. Our number 3 game of the week. AFC West and playoff implications are plenty in this matchup.
Oh yeah, definitely plenty in this at stake in this matchup, and Kansas City right now is if the season were to end today, they would not be in the playoffs. They are currently on the outside looking in, and for Minnesota, for Denver, they're trying to prove to everyone that, hey, we run this division and we can hang with these guys. So a lot at stake here. So this is a tough one for me to call here. I mean, but I gotta go with the Denver Broncos. I think they're ready for the challenge. And look, Kansas City will definitely give them some fits, but Denver, I think, somehow will overcome it. So I'm going to go with Denver, but I would not at all be surprised if Kansas City does pull this one out. So I'm going with the Broncos. It's yours, Florio.
Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones has recorded 2 sacks, 97th in the NFL, and a pressure percentage of 9%, 43rd in the league. But the Chiefs are not worried about his slow start. Their coach, Andy Reid, said Chris is always striving to do better every day. That's what has made him such a good player. Again, he's the guy that they're going to focus on. And if you're getting a double team, that's who's getting doubled. He'll get his as we go forward. It's just important that he stays consistent and keeps working hard. The Broncos have tried hard to frame this game into the 1 week at a time picture they painted in their current 7-game win streak. But this is the first time since Peyton Manning that Denver enters this matchup with a prime chance to win the AFC West. While the Broncos' offensive struggles bear watching, one of the other big ticket items will be how often the league's best defense at sacking quarterbacks, 46 sacks, 14 more than the next team, gets to Patrick Mahomes. In the Chiefs' 4 losses, defenses have hit Mahomes an average of 9.3 times, including 15 hits by the Buffalo Bills 2 weeks ago, compared with just 5.8 times in the Chiefs' 5 wins. The Chiefs are looking to avoid losing 2 straight games for the second time this season. They started 0-2. They have not lost 2 straight multiple times in a season since 2017. But the FPI still goes with Kansas City. They're giving Kansas City a 60% chance to win this game. Like I said with that Seattle Rams game, Kansas City is the safe pick. Yes. And I know I should go with Kansas City to win this game. And would I be surprised if they win this game? Absolutely not. But the thing is, this game's in Denver. It's not at Arrowhead. If it was in Arrowhead, I'd go with the Chiefs all day. But with this being at Mile High, and especially what I've seen with Denver, if Denver wins this game, they literally have they have a damn near stranglehold on this division. I mean, the only real threat they would have is the Chargers. The Chargers are the only real threat to Denver. Kansas City wins, they're right back in the race. There's no doubt about it. And Denver wins this thing. Oh boy. And these next 2 games are these next 2 games are critical for the Kansas City Chiefs. At Denver this week, and then next week, they're at home against Indianapolis. So we will see We'll see what this team can do. But for right now, I know I should go with Kansas City, but I'm going to make another bold prediction here. I'm going to go with Denver. I'm going with Denver, especially because they won the last two. Last year, I get it. Meaningless game. I get it. Kansas City had everything wrapped up. Many said Kansas City even tanked that game just to let Denver win because they had everything, pretty much secure. 2 years ago, that was not the case. That was a meaningful game, and Denver won that one as well. So I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to take another big chance here. I'm gambling on Seattle, and I'm gambling on Denver here. I'm going with Denver to win 27-20. Give me Denver to defeat Kansas City. But I certainly wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs stole this one. I wouldn't. I know I should go with them, but I got to go with Denver for right now. So, not much more. MF, Kansas City and Denver, number 3 game of the week. These next 2 games are critical, absolutely critical for Kansas City. At Denver and then at home against Indy next week. Yikes.
That's going to determine if Kansas City is in or out. And I totally agree with everything that you assessed with. But here's the thing. When a team has their back up against the wall, they scramble, they fight, and they don't give up. And just like how I feel Buffalo is feeling right now, I think Kansas City's feeling the same pressure. They're hearing that negativity. They're hearing the pressure. They're hearing all the noise. Guys, this is the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know, but when the chips are down, when everything's riding on the line, Kansas City's been able to answer the bell. I kind of feel like the Chiefs are going to win this one. So, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm low wolfing this shit. Ow! Give me the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Denver Broncos. Anthony, Casey's not dead. And they're going to make a statement out of this game. So, nothing more to say. It's yours.
They better.
Yeah, they better.
Because, like I said, after this, they got to go home and host Indy. So, we'll see.
The thing is that if they win that game against Denver, depending how it plays out, and then you got Indy coming to Arrowhead, I'm saying this right now. If Kansas City wins both those games, look out. They're back. And that's going to be a bad news for everybody in the AFC. Just like how Baltimore is coming back, I think what's going to happen is the pecking order is about to show up, and they're about to say, enough. Screw the Patriots. Screw the Broncos. Screw the Indianapolis Colts. We're still the class of the AFC, and we're about to take over again. And that means Buffalo, Baltimore, and Kansas City. That's what I'm saying right now.
They were the 3 odds-on favorites going in, so we'll see what happens. All right, we got the primetime games left. NMF, here we go. Thanks to the Crossflex, this is our game of the week. And oh boy, did we get a good one here. Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Detroit Lions squaring off against the Philadelphia Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Stark. Philadelphia opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. Philadelphia leads the regular season series 17-16 with 2 ties. Philadelphia has won the last 2 meetings in a row, both of which were in Detroit. 2022, 38-35, and then a 44-6 beatdown in 2021. However, the last time the Lions beat the Eagles overall and in Philadelphia was 2019. Detroit went into Philly and beat the Eagles 27-24. So, all right. So, Not much more. I believe I start this one off. So, because I think Bullock started the last one. So, all right, guys, here we go. Our game of the week via the Crossflex. Since Coach Dan Campbell arrived in 2021, the Philadelphia Eagles are the only NFC team the Detroit Lions have not beat. Detroit is 0-2 versus Philadelphia under Dan Campbell, losing 44-6 in Week 8 of the 2021 season, then falling 38-35 in Week 1 of 2022. Campbell said, "First, I just want to win. I mean, that's what being competitive is. You want to win, and yeah, we played them twice. They got our number twice. They got after us both times, really. They have a style, and they're very good at it." Thanks in part to the addition of edge rusher Jalen Phillips and the return of Nolan Smith Jr. from a triceps injury, Philadelphia's defensive line dominated against Green Bay with 21 pressures, 8 quarterback hits, and 3 sacks. Lions quarterback Jared Goff has completed just 50% of his throws with a touchdown and 2 interceptions while being pressured this season, per NFL Next Gen stats. He has an 83% completion rate with 16 touchdowns and only 1 interception when he is not pressured. The Eagles have 4 turnovers this season, fewest in the NFL, and their fewest through 9 games of a season in franchise history. The FPI goes with Philadelphia, but it is close. Only 51% going with Philadelphia. That is concerning to me. Philly barely got out of Green Bay last week. And Detroit, they went into Washington and they made the Commanders pay for what the Commanders did in their house in that divisional round when the Commanders crushed their Super Bowl dreams after the greatest season in franchise history. When they had an NFL best 15-2 record, the number 1 seed, it looked like the stars were aligned for Detroit, but then Washington embarrassed them in their house. Detroit went in there last week and said, "You think we forgot about that? Hell no." And Detroit smashed the Commanders 44-22. Eagles barely got out of Lambeau with a 10-7 defensive battle win. This has been a theme over the last couple of games. I know I should go with Philadelphia here. I know Philly, once again, is the safe choice. But I'm feeling really froggy tonight, guys. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. I'm going with Detroit based on the body of work from last week. 30-24. Give me Detroit to steal one in Philadelphia. But if Philly wins, would I be surprised? No, absolutely not. It's high time I start making bold predictions. That's what led me to our Pigskin Pick'em last year. The reason why I won Pigskin Pick'em last year was I made a lot of bold predictions and a lot of them paid off. I think it's high time I start getting back to that if I want to have a chance to win it again this year. And that's what you got to do. You got to make bold predictions at times, and this is one of those times. I know I should go with Philly. I know Philly's the better team. I get it, but I just got this feeling about Detroit for some odd reason. So for the third time in this show, I'm going to listen to my heart instead of my gut. 30-24, give me Detroit to win. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Whatever. Not much more to say. MF, via the Crossflex, this is our game of the week. We got a beauty here. 2 of the best teams in the NFC. 2 of the favorites to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. The Detroit Lions, the Philadelphia Eagles. They were the 2 best teams in the NFC last year. And we're going to the Yellow Delph on Sunday Night Football. Boy, oh boy, I'm really hoping for an offensive shootout here. I don't want to see another defensive battle like we saw at Lambeau last week. I know you do, but I don't. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But MF, come on in. Here we go. Our game of the week via the Crossflex. Detroit, Philadelphia. As to Phil Sims, to my Jim Nance, you know how to do it. You do it better than anybody. Do that thing I like. Hello, friends.
Yeah, and this is going to be a big one. This is the one that I think everybody's been waiting for. Look, Detroit has done really good, and they have. They've been very impressive lately. I think a lot of people love Detroit and the body of work and the whole 9 yards. I get it. The one thing that I'm a little nervous about in this game is how are they going to react? How are they going to react to the big moment? Are they going to react to the big moment? What's going to be the whole 9 yards and the whole and everything played in this situation? And I just look, I get why you're saying Detroit. And yes, this is that, Detroit has gotten better. But I don't think they can hang with the Eagles, man. And especially at home in Philly, I just feel like this is one of those where, Anthony, you're wrong. I think you're underestimating the Eagles, and I really think you're making a humongous mistake here. I get your boldness, and sometimes you gotta be bold in these situations. There's boldness, and then there's stupidity, and I think this is one of those times where I think your head's going a little too far out there. You're reaching a little too far there. So I hate to bring you back down to earth, but I'm probably going to have to here. I don't see Philadelphia losing at home. If this was Ford Field, I'm with you. But this is Philadelphia at night in cold weather. Can they really hang in cold weather when they're playing at Ford Field in a dome? I don't think so. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game on Sunday Night Football. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles as well. I mean, look, I get it. That with the way Detroit's playing, but let's not forget they're the defending champs, and you just can't go against them. Until you see something that makes you feel like, especially when it's at Lincoln Financial Field. If this was at Ford Field, I most definitely would go with Detroit, but it's at the Link. I'm going with the Eagles. So, with that being said, Florio, let's move on to our final game of the night, which is Monday Night Football.
Fair enough. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, like I said, but we'll see. All right. Monday Night Football, to put a bow on Week 11, ABC and ESPN, 8:15 Monday night. Oh, we got a dud here, boys. We got the Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters, and Laura Rutledge. They'll be at Allegiant. Dallas opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. Series history favors the Raiders 7-6. And the Raiders actually won the last meeting in Dallas, 2021, 36-33 in overtime. Dallas last beat the Raiders overall and at the Raiders in 2017, 20-17. So not much more to say. I believe it's MF who starts it off. So MF, final game of the week, Monday Night Football, Dallas and Las Vegas. Oh boy, not a good way to spend a Monday night. I think we'll be more invested in Raw in Madison Square Garden for sure. MF, are you there?
All right. Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry about that. I forgot to unmute my mic. I got the matchup, Anthony. Yeah, it's not a good matchup, no doubt about it. But here's the problem I have. The last time Dallas was on a primetime game, that was against Arizona, right? And if we all remember, what the hell happened on that game? Dallas got smashed, right? Yeah. So, you make a bold prediction, Florio? Screw it. I'm making one myself. The Raiders beat the Cowboys. How you like that to close the show tonight? Dallas, I don't know what it is. Dallas frustrates me so damn much, and they eat me up. They eat me alive, and I don't know what the fuck it is, but every time they do, they play like garbage in the primetime game. And the Raiders, I know the Raiders are not that good, and they play so bad and everything else. You're playing at home. You're playing in Allegiant. Oh, by the way, the home of next year's WrestleMania, second year in a row. But the thing is this. If the Raiders have a running game, a semblance of a running game, Dallas has shown they cannot stop a nosebleed. They can't. And I don't care what anybody says. Something about it just screams upset. I know I may be wrong. I know I'm probably going to get ripped to shreds. I don't give a damn. I got the Raiders beating the Cowboys. I do. Bold prediction. That's mine. How do you like that, Michael Bullock?
Love it.
All I can say is, holy moly, Fletch, tell us how you really feel. But you know what? Fletch makes some points, and you even made a point too, Florida, the last time the Cowboys played on Monday Night Football, and that they blew it. I mean, they lost, and the thing is, I mean, yes, the offense is good, but the defense always do something that they always give up the big plays, and until I see something from them, I can't believe I'm actually going to say this, and I'm going to actually agree with Fletch. I'm going to go with the Vegas Raiders to win this one because Dallas always seems to implode when they play on prime time, and I just don't trust this defense at all. So yeah, give me the Vegas Raiders, and if me and Fletch are the only ones, who cares? I don't trust Dallas at all. Period. End of quotation. End of statement. It's yours, Florio.
Make it 3 for 3, gentlemen. I'm going with Vegas as well. But of course, I got to do my notes, of course. Less than 2 weeks after the death of teammate Marshawn Nealon, the Cowboys have to play a game. Let's not forget that. Coach Brian Schottenheimer and his staff have been tasked with getting the players mentally and physically right under difficult circumstances. Perhaps coming off a bye and with an extra day, because they play Monday night, will help. Schottenheimer said, "We understand our best way to honor Marshawn on the field is how we play. That's something we get to control, and I think the guys are excited about that." Raiders coach Pete Carroll said the team decided to move on from special teams coordinator Tom McMahon because it was time for a change. Las Vegas' special teams unit was one of the factors in the Raiders' loss to Denver. The Raiders allowed a block punt, and Daniel Carlson missed a tying field goal in the fourth quarter. Assistant special teams coach Darius Swinton II was named the interim special teams coordinator. There's no time to change a bunch of our scheme at this point, but it's to emphasize and focus on things that we needed to get better, Carroll said. And so I'm hoping that the voice change will help us in that regard. Raiders running back Ashton Jeanty accounts for 70% of teams' rushing yards, which is the third highest by any player in the NFL after the Colts' Jonathan Taylor at 78%, and the Miami Dolphins' Devon Achane, 73%. This is not me. This is the FPI. This is the FPI talking. The FPI gives Dallas 59%. 59% going with the Dallas Cowboys. And you guys just made this hard for me. I mean, I want to go with the Raiders with you guys. I want to go with the Raiders because of the Cowboys' inability on prime time, falling flat like we saw against Arizona. But there's this other part of me that's thinking when it comes to Dallas, let's not forget, they're coming off the death that tragedy with Marshawn Nealon, 24 years old. I mean, who knows? But then again, who knows how their mindset's going to be? But, with the bye week, that could be a factor. But for right now, until I see something different, I'm actually going to agree with you guys, and I'm actually going to take a chance and go with the Las Vegas Raiders to win this game. But if Dallas does win this game, don't be surprised if they do, because they're going to have Marshawn Nealon on their minds, and they're going to be playing spirited ball for him. So we got to keep that in mind. So, but I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to go with these guys. I'm going to go with Vegas to win, and if Dallas wins, then they were right and we were wrong. Simple as that. So, all right. So with that will put the bow on this very spirited edition of week 11 of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. Tomorrow night, we're back at it again, 10:30 over on MF's channel, Braves Fan 95. And we got the Cerebral Smack Talk, which features the return of TNA Impact to our docket. TNA Impact returned, and they returned in a big way. And then we'll also have Friday Night SmackDown, newsworthy show coming out of that as well. And then Tuesday night, we do it all over again, Ridiculously Raw. Monday Night Raw from Madison Square Garden, and the first week of the 2-week NXT Gold Rush from the theater in Madison Square Garden. And we preview Thursday Night Football, good matchup, the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. We'll get into that as well. And then Thursday, of course, we have the Week 13 edition of College Football Thursday. And then 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again, the Week 12 edition of NFL Friday. The Denver Broncos, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Miami Dolphins, and the Washington Commanders will all be on bye next week. We'll recap the Bills and the Texans. Notable games next week, the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Chicago Bears. I'll give you the New England Patriots and the Cincinnati Bengals. Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. The Indianapolis Colts and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we've also got And then after that, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football, and that's pretty much it. So those are pretty much the notable games for next week. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, this is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, our First Lady, always and forever, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up, Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Saturday, and until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching the Week 11 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamMe.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.